The following is a Closet 501 production.
Hi, and welcome to the second episode of The Insider. I'm Bella Christodoulou, a part of the Insider team. And since this is my first time hosting, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about myself. I joined Lubbock ICTV last year, and I really fell in love with their program. It's given me so many opportunities to meet people and make so many friends and get to use like really nice equipment and just, learn a lot. I've been doing stuff like this for a really long time. When I was younger, I did Pee Wee TV, which was like my kids reporting on your kids, and me and my little brother would go around Lubbock, Texas, and interview children's sports events and like cover it like mini reporters. It was really cute. And I also have my very own YouTube channel, Bella Berry Good, where I use the Mac computers to record myself. They're not that good quality, but that's it. I like stuff like this. So today's story focuses on some of the most important people at our schools that we often overlook. It's our food service workers. Caleb and I went on site to interview some of these amazing people that work behind the scenes every day. It was my first time being at Lubbock High, and I was blown away by the impact that these workers have, and I learned that they do way more than just feed the kids. Our first interviewee is Dennis Phillips, who usually can be seen taking out the trash or keeping our campus clean. Let's hear what he has to say about why he loves working at Lubbock High.
When I come in, everybody's smiling, so I know it's going to be a good day. And so I work with some of the best staff on campus, so I love my job here. Taking care of these kids, for one thing, yeah.
The next worker we interviewed is Leslie Mendieta, who talked to us about how she gets to interact with students and strives to serve them.
I enjoy our kids, our students, our team, everybody. When you walk in, everybody's smiling. That gives you a good day. Your kids, a lot of them know who you are personally. Some of them come stand by us for like a few seconds and talk to us, and then they'll go on about their day to go finish up lunch. With all the kids who normally comes up here, just talk to them. Gotta get out the way a little because we gotta keep our line moving. But yeah, make sure they're well taken care of, well fed, get what they need. Making sure our team is preparing the good amounts for each line so we don't run out, so they can come and get what they need, and make sure there is enough for every single kid who comes and eats in our cafeteria.
Our last interviewee is Angie Solis, who let us know beforehand that she had done this a few times for other LISD TV productions, and she surely delivered. Angie discussed her dedication to the students at Lubbock High and how she believes food service workers are so much more than the typical lunch ladies. Let's hear what she has to say.
Typical day for me is coming in here and getting a delicious breakfast ready for the athletics and getting it ready for my students, having everything ready by 7:30. We keep the lines open till 9 o'clock. I make sure my special ed kids get exactly what they need. First kid in, last kid out, all get the same thing, delicious meal. My favorite part of this job is being able to feed the kids and them telling me that the meal was delicious, or like when we make brisket, they're like, "Oh, miss, that was so good." The satisfaction. And I love for them to brag to their friends, on our different days, because we change on our barbecue line, we change barbecue meats every day. So brisket day Wednesdays is a really popular day for us, and that's like one day they really look forward to. And also, not only that, the principals coming to eat with us too. Our principals, every single principal, all 5 of them eat with us every single day. So that says a lot about our food. I love coming to work every morning, and I have my few kids that'll come up to me and give me a hug. "Hey, Miss Angie, how are you doing this morning?" They love to tell me about events like homecoming dance, and last year we did a couple of things with the kids with prom. Like got their fingernails done, their hair done. I love to be involved with the kids, and there's a lot of kids that need that special person, so that's my favorite part of the job. food service workers are the unsung heroes because they just look at you just like a cafeteria lady. You're there, they stereotype a food service worker as an older lady with a hairnet, glasses, mom-looking lady. They think you just come, just serve the food, hey, have a good day, and go home. But it's much more than that. You just would not believe what a food service worker, what kind of impact they have on student body. Like, oh man, last year for my seniors, I had them a special dinner at the end of the year. Because I got this is my 5th year in the school, so when I got the kids in 9th grade, they were graduating last year. I was like, oh my God, all my babies are graduating. So I had a special dinner for them last year. And I'll do it every year going forward for every senior, because now I'm like, I gotta find me some new kids because y'all are leaving me this year too. So it's kind of teary-eyed and stuff. But for the second year I was here, we got involved with prom. So we were taking like a lot of prom donations, money donations. We were calling the hair salons for hair, nails, makeup. I mean, it was we were even on the news. Like I was like taking, getting, and I mean, we had a big old list of kids. We were able to buy prom tickets. Like we probably bought about $600 of prom tickets. Because there's a lot of needy kids here. Believe it or not, you don't know, because they're not advertising, oh, I need help, or, but there's a lot of kids that need, that person to look out for them. So I love the kids. Yeah. I really do.
Her devotion and passion is so contagious. It made me even want to go to Lubbock High. Thank you to all those who were interviewed. Now, I promise we won't make a tradition out of it, but since he was there with me, please welcome to the mic for the 2nd consecutive episode, Caleb Galbraith.
Hello.
Caleb, we have a few questions for you. So, how's your experience been with the lunch staff at Lubbock High?
Well, they're always really positive. That's one thing I take away. And even when we're like pulling shenanigans with Micah, buying up all their cookies and emptying their ice cream supply.
That sounds
they're always like really, I don't know, like considerate, and they get to know you.
Considerate about y'all buying all the cookies.
Yeah, especially when you get to do like goofy stuff. But anyhow, like they're just always a positive influence.
Mm. And then, why do you think food service workers are the unsung heroes of the school system?
Well, I think it's people don't know what all they do. Like, it's like Angie was saying, like they get stereotyped all the times. It's just people who show up, put the slop on the plate, and you move on. But it's so much more than that. And like they're saying, like they raised like a lot of money for kids who couldn't like afford to go to prom, and were able to go because of them. So
definitely. And she even said that like her favorite part about being a food service worker is that when students come and say that they like love her food, or when the principals eat with them, and I think that's so sweet.
Yeah, they're really proud there of what they do. So
definitely, they take a lot of pride. So we should all respect them.
Yeah, and also like when we were there, you're saying they're truly selfless. Like they don't try to be mainstream. They don't try to take lots of credit. They're just there working for us every single day.
Definitely for all the students. So that's all we have for you today on the 2nd episode of The Insider, and we hope to see you guys next time. Bye!
I'm Micah Pappas.
And I'm Lily Tony.
And this is Secrets of the South Plains. This week, our teacher drove us out to the Silent Wings Museum right out by the Lubbock Airport, and we got to see some pretty cool gliders, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we got to see actually a lot more than I thought I was going to see. We actually, we got to go inside, and there was a lot more artifacts than just planes. There was like,
there was like maps and like engines,
there were
and
maps.
They had like tanks, they had mortars, they had like
and uniforms, like the army uniforms and everything. And
they had some like wax figures wearing the uniforms.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So just before we start, a little background on Silent Wings Museum. It was originally in Terrell, Texas in 1984. That's so it was a private museum at first, where the actual veterans that fought in the war would stand right by the artifacts that they actually fought with in World War II. Yeah. So they stand right next to their bomber jacket, or right next to their weapon, and tell their story and the story of their artifact and what happened with that. So I just thought it was then in 2002, they made the difficult decision to move it over to Lubbock, Texas, and now it's an official museum where it's open to the public, and they have ceremonies for different like grandchildren and veterans, and it's owned by professional curators now.
Yeah.
And this is where those glider pilots received what was called advanced glider training and actually earned the G wings that they wore, the flight wings with the special G on them. And so about 5,800 or so of the 7,200 glider pilots who were trained during World War II actually learned to fly the CG-4A glider and earned those G-wings right here in Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, so as you heard right there, they like there were 7,000 total gliders that fought in World War II.
Yeah.
And out of that, 5,800 learned to fly in Lubbock, Texas.
The majority of all of those people that served in World War II that were, like operated the gliders, most of them, like over half of them came to Lubbock, Texas. I don't know why they decided to get trained here out of all places because,
I think it's probably pretty good because the wind we have. If you're from Lubbock, we have really bad wind. So I guess it was probably good to be able to train in harsh conditions. So that way, in the event that something actually happens, you have that training to back it up. And also, it's fairly flat, so a lot of places to land if something doesn't go according to plan.
Yeah. So I guess I guess the terrain is better, and like you said, the wind. It's a lot it's better in terms of those conditions. So that kind of training in. Opposed to you're in a place where it's not windy and the glider can't catch any wind because in places like Germany it's colder, and so you would think it's windier, the climate's harsher.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they chose Lubbock, is because it's as opposed to being not as cool over there, which I don't think would matter to the glider unless it would just be colder, but
it is pretty thin metal, but and they're high up in the air, so that it would be pretty cold, but it has no engine and it has no functioning thrusters or anything, so it should be fine. It's pretty much a paper airplane, just really big.
Yeah.
It's incredible how they get them to fly.
I know, because they literally for the cargo gliders, they attach a line or it's like tailgating, not tailgating, but towing, towing a truck. Yeah. And a plane hooks it up, a plane that can fly, hooks it up to the glider, and they go over where the battle's supposed to be, and they drop it so it glides down 2 or 3 miles. And that's what the curator said. She told us that they would glide around 2 or 3 miles into a battle zone, and that way they could get cargo out real fast and get it to stuff like their bases, and also they brought thousands and thousands of troops to those battles.
And it kind of served a dual purpose because the plane that was towing them could also hold soldiers or cargo or whatever it needed to. So you kind of you knocked two things out with one trip. You had the plane, you had the smaller glider that was towed along behind it. But the plane has a lot more sense of security. If something goes bad, you can take off. The glider, once you're landed, you can't
get back up. Yeah.
We did see it was a pretty big glider. Imagine them to be pretty small. She said it was 84 feet wide by 40 something feet long. So it was a big glider, and I think we have an audio clip about it.
A CG-4A glider is the glider that they flew into combat. It is a C for cargo, G for glider, and it is the finest example. The one we have in the collection is the finest example of a CG-4A glider in the world. There are other restorations. This is the most complete one, and it was completed in 1984, just before they opened their museum in Terrell, and it was the flagship of their collection. There are actually 6 others in the world that the glider pilots helped build, and a lot of partials and cockpit here, fuselage there in different museums. But our largest and arguably most important artifact is the CG-4A glider that they restored as a symbol of their service.
Yeah, as she mentioned, she had a really big. It was an impressive glider. We took a cool picture in front of it. It was very cool looking. You got to see the toe on it.
Yeah.
She mentioned it is the most complete glider. It's not fully complete. It's not 100% restored, but we took a look inside. It had the seat. It had the seating. It had all the railing on the inside. Yeah. We look inside the cockpit. Obviously, we couldn't go inside. The floor is very fragile.
Yeah.
And it's it's 80 years old, but we were able to peek inside the window of the cockpit, and it had all the original wiring. They found an uncased glider that had all the original wiring, so they were able to use that to restore it. She mentioned all these parts kind of came together to form this restored glider.
Yeah, it wasn't just all from the same glider. It was actually from, I think, 4 or 5 or maybe 3 different battles. But they managed to get all of those parts and almost completely restore it.
Yeah. It was impressive. They said they found a nearly complete shell sitting on top of a gas station near Galveston, something like that. So they were on the hunt for this plane, and they said there are only 6 others of these gliders in existence over the, like I'm honestly not sure how many were used.
Probably
but hundreds, maybe even like thousands of gliders that were of these type of gliders that were used in World War II, because they were so important to getting this cargo to troops that were fighting some difficult battles. It was extremely important that they had this glider. And it was just impressive to see. It was just a sight to see. It was impressive.
Yeah, especially because there's so little left in existence, and it's honestly crazy that I didn't know that we had something like that in Lubbock, Texas. And there's some really interesting parts of Lubbock, Texas that a lot of people don't really know about and don't really want to like take the time and go and see them. Like the National Ranch Heritage Center is a pretty big one, and there's a lot of other stuff, like everybody knows about that one, but stuff like the Silent Wing Museum,
it's more hidden, like people don't really know about that it exists.
It's like a secret.
Yeah, exactly. And she mentioned we have a large veteran population in Lubbock, Texas, and she mentioned a lot of veterans will come by and see the plane with their grandchildren and stuff like that.
We have eight known glider pilots left in the world, but they still come and visit us, and we have a reunion 2 weeks from today, there'll be a reunion where those children and grandchildren come together to commemorate their service to the American glider pilot, and we're slated to have 3 of those glider pilots with us. So.
Yeah, as she mentioned, like they still have reunions and people still come by, and there are still some veterans able to tell their story. And speaking of stories, we heard an incredible story from this one veteran about a map he rescued from his plane. I think we have another clip about that.
Photograph is an aerial photograph used for reconnaissance. They give you the photograph. They say, you're going to land right here. It's going to be no problem. And, your landing zone is right here, right? So he took this, studied it, memorized it, folded it up, and put it down on the floor of the glider, and then flew that mission. And it was the 1 and 2 vessel area, Operation Varsity, near the end of the war in March of '45. He flew that mission. It's very rough, flat small arms fire coming up through the bottom of the glider, made his landing. Can't remember how many airborne passengers he had, 5 of them. They were not wearing the flak suits, and they were all wounded by the small arms fire coming up through the bottom of the glider, and the flak bursting all around them. One of them was wounded 20 times. And the glider pilot was not sure what happened because they separate, and he doesn't know if that guy survived or not.
Yeah, as you heard, you heard her starting to almost break up, during that, while she was telling that story. And at first, I was a little bit confused. I was like, she works in a museum. There's a lot of war stories. And then I remembered all of these were donated, like personally, hand donated from the veterans. Yeah. So as she was telling us that, she was reliving what that veteran told her, and it was just a very heart-touching moment. Yeah. And as she mentioned, he doesn't know how much of his crew survived, but that's the one thing he's able to keep with him is that map, and he donated it. It's displayed on a piece of paper, and since it's folded up, it was cut through, and it's almost like cutting paper snowflakes. Yeah. The bullet holes were traced all around the map, and you can see how he narrowly escaped his death that day.
All right, guys, it looks like that's all we have time for today. Thank you for tuning in to Secrets of the South Plains.
Hope you learned something.
Hello, and welcome back to Closet 501. I'm Carson Ward here with Naomi Spears. This week's topic, we chose academics. Right?
Slashed with atmosphere.
Slashed with atmosphere. Okay. What did you call that one?
I called it atmodemic.
Atmodemic. Okay. So there is a group called Leading Ladies at Monterey, I heard. Would you mind telling me a little bit about that?
So Leading Ladies is an organization for ladies only at Monterey High School that is kind of like a community service kind of thing, where all the ladies come together, they go study together, they go to events together, they help community service, like go to shelters and volunteer. It's mainly a female version of National Honor Society.
Okay. What do your teachers think about it? Like, what do they say about it?
My teachers think it's a great idea. It's a nice way for young ladies around the school to get involved with things, and I actually agree with them on that. I have to say, like, one of the
service community head for Leading Ladies gives us a more in-depth explanation about Leading Ladies overall.
An organization that's helped me understand more of our community and what needs help and how should we prepare for our future for college or jobs. An organization that's helped me understand more of our community and what needs help and how should we prepare for our future for college or jobs.
So yeah, that's like one of the reasons. But I also got another somebody like maybe a different perspective from the program committee head, Tatum. She's a really nice person. We'll hear what she has to say for us.
It's a way for me to socialize with other girls and just like make friends and have some leadership experience.
Yeah, Leading Ladies is one of the good things we have at Monterey, other than NHS. So, but the thing is, it's just, with it being like National Honor Society, it means you have to have good grades, or overall you're like you can't be in it anymore. So like, does that tie into NHS? What do you think about it so far?
Well, I mean, it sounds like a great organization. I mean, pretty much we haven't done anything for NHS yet this year. I was in JHS at Irons in 8th grade. So, I mean, it relates a lot to that. You know, you're doing community service, you're trying to get your hours in, you're trying to do different activities to get hours to help others, but it's not, I mean, it's not just about getting the hours, though. And I think that's what a lot of people thought about whenever they were trying to do NJHS.
I know, that's what I thought.
I just need 10 hours, you know. I want to get it done, that way I don't get in trouble. That's not what it's about, you know. You want to be able to help the community, and you have to have that want. If you're not, and it seems like that's how it is here, like, you got to have the want. And, you know, I mean, if you don't have that want, then you're not gonna be successful. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I kind of agree, but I also think atmosphere in this kind of thing, events and meetings, are also important to draw people in, because like some people don't realize how fun it is, or like how nice people are, how they come together at first, because they're like only like what you said, only focusing on just getting the hours. In reality, like there's so much more to it. I would like to see what Isabella Cruz has to say about atmosphere.
It's wonderful, everyone's energetic, everyone's excited, we love helping everyone or planning events. It's just a very warm atmosphere.
I agree with her. There's like many different things. Also, there's many others have different opinions on it. And I would like to share from Tatum what she also thinks of the atmosphere like in Leading Ladies.
We all talk about our lives, and we're all best friends and really support each other.
So yeah, I agree with those ladies. Like, there's many different things that go into community service, especially in Leading Ladies.
You know, and a big thing that I think about, whether it be extracurricular clubs, activities, theater, you know, is the atmosphere. That's what really
ties everything together.
Well, yeah, but it's one of my main like focus points. I don't know why, but that's a big deal to me for some reason, you know. And her just mentioning that it's a warm atmosphere, people are welcome, you know, and they feel a sense of like
belonging,
togetherness in a way, you know. It reminds me of something that like it's a welcoming place to be. It's a good place to be, you know, and that's how it should be. You don't want to be in a club that's like, oh, we don't want you here. We're like just all this negative energy. You don't need that.
I also agree, because like I'm also in other extracurricular activities like golf, UIL, and all that. And I'm like, I stay in those because I like how nice people are. The teacher's always smiling, making jokes and stuff. I feel like I belong to it. So that's why like atmosphere is important for people in order to like come together and like have fun in community service, makes it fun so we can do it again later on in the future.
Now, okay, so you told me a couple of days ago that you were in it last year, but you're not this year.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think it was fun and all, but I kind of had other things to do, and like all the stress from last year kind of came together. I'm like, I can't keep doing this, so I'm like, I gotta focus on my academics first before I stay in this Leading Ladies, because they kept requiring a lot of things. Because I think last year was like the first year Leading Ladies actually started running, and everything was coming together. Like I was trying to figure out everything. I just got stressed through it all, and I'm like, I got to focus on other things, and this wasn't good for me. So I kind of left.
So last year, were you in Leading Ladies and NJHS?
Yes.
Is that one? Okay, so that's probably one of the reasons why you're so stressed.
I had to get like hours for both things. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't have the time to do it. So I'm like, I just might as well focus on one.
How many hours did you have to get in NJHS as compared to Leading Ladies?
In NHS, we had to get like 20 hours each semester. Yeah, like, and every, like, she counts, Miss Clements, the lead for NHS at Monterey, she counts 1 hour as 2 points. So, for different concession stands and things and stuff. So far, I haven't gone to one yet, because I, like, with everything going on this month, I'm like,
Yeah.
So hopefully once October starts, I can go. But for, like, Leading Ladies, I think it's the same amount of hours, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 30 hours or so. I don't know, like, this is a new year, so maybe they want to start something different. But last time I was there, like, it was a little bit more hours than NHS.
So so you just mentioned that y'all had like however many hours equates to how many points. So did y'all go by like the hour system or the point system?
What do you mean by that?
Because like, okay, so you just said 1 hour equals 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
So did y'all, like, was y'all's goal to get like 20 points, or was it just to get 20 hours?
In NHS, it's 20 points.
Okay, so 20 points.
So
for Leading Ladies, is it the same? Like, do you
It's
go by
similar.
points or do you go by hours? Because for NJHS at Irons, for me, we went by hours, and I think we only had to have like 10.
Yeah, I think Leading Ladies is go by the hours.
Okay.
But, like, we also, like, when NHS, it kind of ties in together. So I think Leading Ladies is a great place for atmosphere for young ladies just joining high school. And, yeah, I feel like it's a great thing to have for future generations of ladies.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, that will do us for Closet 501 here in Atmodemic here. Thank you for tuning in. I am Naomi Spears.
And I'm Carson Ward.
See you next time.
This has been a production of the students and staff at Lubbock ISD TV.
Been a golf coach at Monterey for 12 years. Golf is a sense of community, and I enjoy helping others play the game that I really enjoy.
Okay, but you don't want to put it.
We shake hands with our opponents. We pull for our opponents.
That was better.
It's a very positive sport,
Just follow through.
and I think all of those things, to me, is what life should be. It should be more positive. It should be us working together, because we're all in this together, and I'm not just talking about on the team, I'm talking about all people. We're all in this together, and if we work together, we can accomplish anything. If we decide to do what we want to do on our own, it becomes way more difficult. We can still do great things, but it becomes more difficult. So I think golf and teaching that sense of community and how we can make things better, I think is a very good lesson for everyone. The most fun chipping, I think, because it's easier to get the ball in the hole. It's a shorter shot. I'd like to feel the clean contact of the club hitting the ball correctly, which is easier to reproduce when it's a short shot.
I heard in like a year or two.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not sure, but I will have my 20 years in. So I was waiting till you leave and then I'll retire.